How would you grade last night's broadcast with Amazon?
I think, Dan, you start off pass fail, right? I think if they didn't crash, they pass, which I know sounds kind of crazy right here in 2022, but we were trying something that was different in terms of live streaming. As many people, we don't know the numbers until next week, but there were millions and millions and millions of people watching this at one time. And even though Amazon was very confident and they have all their web services and everything, and it did work out, there was the chance it could crash. I mean, I had people, very important people from other networks, thought, yeah, I'm not sure it'll work. So it did. So pass fail, and then overall grade, I'd probably give it A minus B plus.
Oh,
Pretty good. I
okay.
thought it was pretty good. I mean, and let me just say, there's a caveat, because then there's people listening like, I had my screen didn't work, it was terrible for me. So like, yeah, like obviously I get that on social media. For my experience personally, I had no issues. But obviously, this is going to be something that's a work in progress in terms of how it comes across on individual screens.
Amazon doesn't have to reveal the numbers?
No, they will. They will. The advertisers wanted them to have some sort of way to know how many people are watching. And so Nielsen will be having ratings, but they're not going to come out till next week.
Could you get that on Amazon Prime around the world?
No. This is just domestic.
So Prime Video is only available in the United States?
No, it's available around the world, but these NFL rights are only available in the United States. But you are hitting on something when we talk about the world transforming. That's where where the business changes is when Amazon or Apple or ESPN Plus, when they get all the rights to the whole world, because then you're reaching 2 billion people, and then you talk about subscription, and that's where kind of the world could change over time, 10, 15 years.
What'd you think of Al Michaels' Kirk Herbstreit?
So they're very good. Here's the thing about this stuff. We've seen this with Monday Night Football before they just brought in Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, is that you don't want the announcers to be the focus, right? And so we're talking about Al Michaels, probably the greatest NFL TV play-by-player of all time. Kirk Herbstreit's the biggest voice in college football. So, at minimum, you knew they were going to be pretty good, right? They weren't going to embarrass themselves at all. I thought first half energy was a little low. Al's got a low energy because, he always says he reflects the game, which is when you're doing the biggest games of the years for 3 decades plus, it's easy to do that. Let's reflect the game. When you're doing Jacksonville and the Jets, week 14, week 15, which they have, that one, I don't know if you want to reflect the game and come on, this is awful. So that's something. I heard you talk about the interception. Look, it's Al Michaels, so that was I thought that was important. What Amazon did, especially with that main feed, they got Fred Godelli, who's the longtime producer of Sunday Night Football and then did Monday Night before that. Just knew that the broadcast, if you could get it on your screen, was going to be really good, and it was really good. Did they, Herbstreit told me for a story I did that, he wants to be the best booth in sports. Did I feel like it was the best booth in sports on day one? I didn't feel that way, but it was very good.
Yeah, the sound quality bothered me. It was a little annoying to start. Muddy, maybe, but, a lot of times when you try to simulate what the sound is going to be like, or what the crowd is going to feel, every time I did something on the road, it was always louder than what I thought it was going to be. And it felt like the sound level was low. But if you have people that helps. The familiarity of having Al call a game helps you from the start. Herbie is familiar to football fans. Carissa Thompson as your studio host. What did you think of the other analyst in there with the studio portion of this?
I thought there's potential. They're doing something different. If you look at the other shows, the ESPNs, the CBSs, the Foxes, NBC, lesser extent, they have older, longtime analysts. This was a little fresher, right? Tony Gonzalez, he was on Fox and CBS. I don't really like him that much, quite honestly. I don't find what he says usually that moves the ball forward very much. But I thought when you looked at Richard Sherman, you looked at Ryan Fitzpatrick, they had some, good off the field, fresh perspective. Kind of want to see them talking more on going at each other. And then Andrew Whitworth, he has a presence to him. He's a guy who I've heard about for years. Obviously a great player, but an offensive lineman who I thought who could be pretty good. And Carissa Thompson I thought was a good choice. So I think here's the thing about it. I don't know if many people are going to watch that pregame show. I think the postgame show is where maybe they can make some hay, get people to hang around. I mean, if you look at Inside the NBA, the most iconic studio show probably ever in terms of sports. It's the post game that really is where they make their bread and butter. That's where they have their fun, and so I think that's where Amazon probably has to focus on. And I think they did a good job of just making an hour for the pregame instead of wasting their time and making like 3 hours.
Yeah.